June Kim stood by the large window on the space station. From here he could see Earth below, blue and green and beautiful. He watched as 3 black ships moved closer. These ships belonged to the Krelians, aliens who had come to Earth 5 years ago. June fixed his gray suit and took a deep breath. As Earth's main ambassador, he had to look calm. The Krelians must not know what the humans were really thinking. "Ambassador Kim, the Krelian ships want to dock early," said Yoon, his assistant. Her voice was steady, but June knew she was worried. All the Earth diplomats were worried these days. "Let them dock," June said, "and tell Admiral Han to stay ready." Yoon nodded and walked away to send the messages. June looked back at the approaching ships. They were smooth and black like shadows moving through space. For 30 years, humans had pretended to be peaceful. They told all alien visitors that Earth had moved past war. They said humans had forgotten how to fight. This was not true. It was a clever trick. Earth had hidden its weapons. They turned warships into what looked like science vessels. They built guns into mining machines. The military trained in secret bases under the ground and on the far side of the moon. Also, the aliens would think humans were weak and harmless. The Krelians ruled 17 star systems. They were stronger than humans in many ways. Their ships could travel faster, their weapons could hit harder. But they had one weakness. They believed what humans told them. At first, the Krelians seemed friendly. They shared some of their technology. They traded goods with Earth. They invited humans to join meetings with other alien species. But lately things had changed. Admiral Han's spies had learned the truth. The Krelians saw Earth as nothing more than a rich planet to take. They wanted Earth's water, its metals, its land, and they thought taking it would be easy because humans had forgotten how to fight. The door slid open, and 5 Krelians entered the meeting room. They were tall, with gray-blue skin and 4 arms each. Ambassador Vrex led them, his upper arms raised in greeting while his lower arms remained still. "Ambassador Kim," Vrex said, his voice making the translator buzz slightly. "Thank you for allowing us to arrive early. We have much to discuss." "Of course," June said with a smile. "Earth is always happy to meet with our Krelian friends." June knew the words were empty, just part of the game they were playing. The Krelians pretended to respect humans. Humans pretended to be harmless. But this game would not last much longer. The meeting lasted 3 hours. The Krelians asked many questions about Earth's resources. How much titanium did the planet produce each year? How many square kilometers of farmland existed? How deep were the oceans? June answered carefully, giving some information but not all. When the Krelians finally left, June went to his private room. He locked the door and turned on the special computer that could not be tracked or hacked. A message was waiting for him. Urgent. Krelian warships gathering at Pluto's orbit. 23 vessels detected military class. June's heart beat faster, but he kept his face calm, even though no one could see him. This was what they had been preparing for. He pressed the button to call Admiral Han. Han's face appeared on the screen. He was an older man with short gray hair and serious eyes. He was on his ship somewhere in the asteroid belt, hidden from Krelian sensors. "You got the message?" Han asked. "Yes," June said. "How long do we have?" 2 days, maybe 3. They're being careful, trying to stay hidden, but our deep space sensors found them. June nodded. "And the Mars colony?" "The Krelians are scanning it right now, looking for weaknesses." Han's expression was grim. "They found none because we built it strong, but they don't know that yet. The Mars colony looked like a simple science and mining operation, but deep under its surface were weapon systems and soldiers ready to fight when the time came." "What about the moon base?" June asked. "Colonel Sue reports all systems ready. The defense grid can be activated in 6 minutes." The moon base was Earth's biggest secret. What aliens saw was a research center with 300 scientists. What they didn't see were the 10,000 soldiers and the massive guns hidden under the surface. "They think we're easy to defeat," Han said. "They believe we have no real weapons, no trained fighters." "Good," June said. "That's exactly what we wanted them to think." Later that night, June couldn't sleep. He stood by the window again, looking down at Earth. Billions of people lived there. Most of them didn't know what was coming. The government had kept the truth from ordinary citizens to maintain the deception. If everyone knew about the Krelian threat, they might panic, and the Krelians would realize their plan was discovered. His computer beeped. Another message. Krelian fleet moving. Estimated arrival, 36 hours. It was happening sooner than they expected. June quickly dressed and went to the emergency communication room. He needed to speak with Earth's leaders right away. The President of the United Earth Government appeared on the screen. She looked tired but determined. Ambassador Kim, we've received the alert, she said. Admiral Han is moving the fleet into position. Colonel Su has begun warming up the moon base systems. General Min has the ground forces on standby. What about evacuation plans? June asked. We can't evacuate without alerting the Krelians, the president said. But we've quietly moved people from the likely landing zones. As far as the Krelians know, those areas are still populated. June nodded. And Project Sentinel? The president's expression became even more serious. Ready to activate. Let's hope we don't need it. Project Sentinel was Earth's last resort, a weapon so powerful it could destroy an entire fleet. But using it would have consequences that would last for generations. I'll return to Earth immediately, June said. No, the president replied. Stay where you are. When the Krelians attack, we need you to act surprised, demand explanations, buy us time. June understood. His role was to maintain the deception until the last possible moment, to make the Krelians believe humans were shocked and helpless. I understand, he said. The next morning, June met with Rex again. The Krelian ambassador seemed different today. More confident, less interested in pretending to be friendly. We have decided to increase our presence in your system, Rex announced. For protection purposes only, of course. Protection from what? June asked, pretending to be confused. There are dangers in this sector of space that your species doesn't understand, Rex said. We simply wish to ensure Earth's safety. June nodded slowly. That's very generous. When will these protection forces arrive? Rex's four eyes blinked in sequence. They're already on their way. Later, alone in his office, June contacted Admiral Han again. It's happening, he said. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. We're ready, Han replied. His ship was now positioned near Jupiter, hidden in the giant planet's radiation field. When they come, they'll find out that humans never forgot how to fight. We just chose not to. June looked at Earth one more time through his window. Soon, that view would change. Peace would end. War would begin. And the Krelians would learn they had made a terrible mistake. June was woken by a loud alarm. The space station shook. He fell from his bed onto the floor. The lights flickered, then turned red. Emergency. All personnel to escape pods, said a voice over the speakers. June quickly dressed and ran to the command center. Un was already there, her face pale as she looked at the screens. They're here, she said simply. The screens showed many Krelian ships around Earth. They were firing on small defense satellites, destroying them easily. Other Krelian ships were landing in open areas, deserts, plains, and fields away from big cities. Ambassador Rex appeared on the main screen. He looked different now. Gone was the friendly mask. His four eyes were cold. People of Earth, he said. The Krelian Empire now controls your planet. Do not resist. We will not harm those who accept our rule. June pressed a button to respond. Ambassador Rex, what is the meaning of this? We had peace between us. Rex made a sound that might have been a laugh. There was never peace, Ambassador. Kim, only patience on our part. Your world has resources we need. Your people will serve us. This is the natural order. We will fight back, June said, trying to sound scared but determined. With what? Rex asked. Your scientists? Your farmers? Your artists? You have no warriors left. Your species chose comfort over strength. It was a poor choice. The screen went black. June looked at Yoon and nodded. It was time. June pressed his hand against a hidden scanner under the desk. A small panel opened, revealing a red button. "Sentinel protocol activated," said the computer when June pressed it. Across the solar system, everything changed. On the moon, Colonel Sue stood in the real command center, 100 meters below the fake research base. Around her, soldiers took their positions at control panels. "Lunar defense grid activating," she said calmly. The surface of the moon shifted. What looked like research domes and solar panels moved aside. From beneath them rose huge guns and missile launchers, all pointing at the Krelian ships near Earth. "Target the nearest transport ships first," Sue ordered. "Fire." Beams of energy shot from the moon toward Earth's orbit. 3 Krelian transports exploded before they knew they were in danger. In the asteroid belt, Admiral Han gave orders from his command ship. What had appeared to be ordinary mining vessels now revealed their true nature. Panels slid open, showing weapons. Engine limiters were removed, doubling their speed. "All ships, remove stealth systems," Han ordered. "Attack. Pattern Alpha. Target Krelian command vessels." The human fleet moved toward Earth, no longer hiding. On Mars, General Min woke his sleeping army. 5,000 soldiers who had been pretending to be miners and scientists now put on their real uniforms. The red planet's surface opened in 100 places and weapon systems rose up. "Begin operation," Min said into his communicator. "Defend Earth at all costs." Back on the space station, June watched as the human forces revealed themselves. For the first time in 30 years, Earth's real military was visible. "Send a message to Vrex," he told Yoon. When the Krelian ambassador appeared on screen again, he looked confused. "What is happening?" Vrex demanded. "Where did these weapons come from?" June smiled. "You asked what we would fight with. Now you see the answer." "Impossible," Vrex said. "Our scans showed no military forces, no weapon factories, no warships." "We hid them," June explained. "We made our weapons look like other things. We trained our soldiers in secret. We built our ships to appear harmless." "But why?" Vrex asked. "Because we knew someday someone would come to take our world," June said. "We wanted them to think it would be easy. We wanted them to be unprepared." Vrex's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. "You deceived us." "Yes," June said. "Just as you deceived us with your talk of friendship." The space station shook again as a Krelian ship fired on it. June and Yoon ran to the escape pods. As they climbed inside, Yoon looked worried. "Will it work?" she asked. "Our forces have never fought a real war. The Krelians have conquered 17 systems." "We have the element of surprise," June said as the escape pod launched, "and we are fighting for our home." The small pod raced toward Earth as explosions lit up space around them. Admiral Han's fleet met the Krelian ships in Earth's orbit. The human vessels were smaller but faster. They darted between the large Krelian warships, firing at weak points that human spies had identified over the years. "Group 2, target their engine cores," Han ordered. "Group 3, protect the moon base from their counterattack." On his main screen, Han watched as Colonel Sue's moon weapons destroyed Krelian landing craft. The aliens had not expected any resistance, especially not from the moon. Their ships were not in defensive formations. "They're regrouping," reported Han's second in command. "Moving into battle positions." Han nodded. The surprise was over. Now the real fight would begin. On Earth, the Krelians who had already landed found themselves surrounded. What they thought were simple farms had been hiding places for tanks and soldiers. Buildings that seemed like ordinary homes opened to reveal gun emplacements. In the skies, what the Krelians had believed were passenger aircraft suddenly dropped their fake shells and became fighter jets. The president of the United Earth government spoke to her people from a bunker deep underground. "Citizens of Earth," she said, her voice broadcast worldwide. "Today we end the deception we have maintained for 30 years. The Krelian Empire has attacked us, believing we were defenseless. They were wrong." She paused, looking directly at the camera. "Humanity never forgot how to fight. We only pretended to, waiting for this day. Now we remind the galaxy of an old truth. Never threaten a human's home." In Egypt, Krelian landing forces found themselves fighting human tanks that had been hidden under the sand. In Russia, what looked like farming equipment turned into mobile artillery. In the oceans, submarines that had been disguised as research vessels surfaced to fire missiles at Krelian ships. June's escape pod landed in Korea. Soldiers met him and took him to a hidden command center. "Status report?" he asked as soon as he arrived. "Moonbase is fully operational and has destroyed 30% of the Krelian landing craft," an officer told him. "Admiral Han's fleet is engaged in orbit. General Min has begun launching missiles from Mars. The ground forces are slowing Krelian advances everywhere." "And Project Sentinel?" June asked quietly. "Ready if needed," the officer replied. "But the president hopes we won't have to use it." June nodded. Project Sentinel was the last resort, a weapon that could destroy the Krelian homeworld. Humans had built it not to use it, but to have it if all else failed. Outside the command center, the sky flashed with explosions as human and Krelian ships fought above. The deception was over. The mask had fallen away. Now Earth fought openly for its survival. In his ship, Admiral Han received a message from Krelian High Command. "You have hidden your true nature from us," the Krelian leader said. "This deception will not save you. You have surprised us, yes, but we have conquered 17 worlds. We will conquer yours too." Han's reply was simple. "You misunderstood our nature. We did not hide our weapons because we are weak. We hid them because we are smart. You should have studied human history before you attacked us. War is what we do best." The Krelian leader's face showed anger for the first time. "Then war is what you shall have." Across the solar system, more Krelian ships appeared. The main battle fleet had arrived. The first attack had only been the beginning. The dangerous war had truly begun. 2 months had passed since the first attack. The war spread across the entire solar system. Admiral Han moved his command ship constantly to avoid Krelian targeting. The Dauntless, once disguised as a cargo vessel, was now Earth's mobile headquarters. Han stood before a large screen showing the positions of all ships in the solar system. "They're adapting to our tactics," he told his officers. "The element of surprise is gone." The room was silent. Everyone knew what that meant. The early victories had given humans hope, but the Krelians had recovered quickly. Their main battle fleet was enormous. Over 200 warships against Earth's 60. "We need something new," said Captain Tay, Han's top fighter pilot. "A new trick they haven't seen before." Han nodded. "That's why we're meeting with Dr. Jin today." Dr. Jin arrived an hour later. She was small and quiet, but her mind was the sharpest on Earth. For 5 years, she had led the team studying Krelian technology. Now she carried a small box that might change the war. "It's ready," she said, placing the box on the table. "We call it the Silent Echo." Han opened the box. Inside was a small round device. "It doesn't look like much," he said. "It doesn't need to," Jin replied. "This device will disrupt their faster-than-light communications. Their ships won't be able to talk to each other or receive orders from their command." Han picked up the device. "How many do we have?" 50, Jin said. "We need to place them near their main communication relays." Han looked at Captain Tay. "Assemble a special team. Your fastest pilots, your best soldiers. This mission must not fail." Tay nodded and left to gather his team. On the moon, Colonel Su faced a crisis. The Krelians had launched a major attack on the lunar defense grid. 3 of her weapon stations were already destroyed. "They're targeting power systems," her second-in-command reported. "They've learned how our defenses work." Su looked at the battle map. The Krelians were smart. They had studied human tactics and found weaknesses. "Move power generators to the backup locations," she ordered, "and prepare the tunnel system for ground defense." "You think they'll try to land?" her officer asked, looking worried. "I would," Su replied simply. She was right. 3 hours later, Krelian landing craft touched down on the far side of the moon. Soldiers with special space armor marched toward the human base. "All personnel to battle stations," Su announced. "This is what we trained for." The tunnels beneath. The moon's surface had been built for exactly this purpose. Narrow passages where Krelian size was a disadvantage, traps and choke points, areas where human soldiers could fight with the best chance of success. On Earth, June worked with the president in the main bunker. Reports came in from all over the world. Some were good. Human forces had pushed Krelians out of Africa completely. Some were bad. Much of Australia was under Krelian control. "We're holding our own," the president said. "But for how long?" June had no easy answer. The human military was fighting well, but the Krelians had more ships, more soldiers, and more weapons. Time was on their side. A message arrived from Mars. General Min's face appeared on screen. "The Krelians have begun a full assault on the Mars colony," he reported. "We're fighting, but they've brought their heavy weapons this time. They know we're here now." "Hold as long as you can," the president told him. "Help is coming." After the call ended, June looked at her. "What help?" "Dr. Jin's new weapon," she said. "If it works, we might turn this war around." In space near Jupiter, Captain Tay led his special team toward the largest Krelian communication relay. Their ships were small and painted black to avoid detection. Each carried one of Dr. Jin's devices. "Remember," Tay told his pilots, "we only get one chance. Place the devices according to the plan, then get out fast." The Krelian relay was massive, a space station with long antennas reaching out in all directions. It connected the Krelian fleet to their homeworld 17 light-years away. Tay's team approached from different angles. Their ships were nearly invisible against the darkness of space. The Krelians had sensors, but they were busy watching for larger threats. "Team 1 in position," Tay heard over his radio. "Team 2 ready. Team 3 approaching target." Tay checked his own position. "Team 4 ready. Begin operation." 50 small ships moved toward the relay. They had to place Dr. Jin's devices at specific points. If even one team failed, the plan would not work. Suddenly, alarms sounded. The Mon Krelians had spotted them. "We've been detected," Tay announced. "Proceed at maximum speed, complete the mission at all costs." Defense guns on the relay began firing. 2 human ships exploded immediately. 3 more took damage but kept going. Tay pushed his ship faster. Laser fire passed just meters from his cockpit. He reached his target area and attached the device to the relay structure. "Team 4, device planted," he reported. "Withdrawing now." All around the relay, similar reports came in. Despite the defensive fire, most of the teams managed to place their devices. "Activate now," Tay ordered. When the last team reported success, at once the silent echo devices turned on. They sent out waves of energy that disrupted Krelian communications. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Across the solar system, Krelian ships suddenly stopped receiving orders. Their coordinated attacks fell apart. Their formations broke. On the Dauntless, Admiral Han watched as the Krelian fleet near Earth began to move in confusion. "It's working," he said. "Launch counterattack now. All vessels." Human ships surged forward, targeting Krelian vessels that were now operating independently. Without central command, the aliens couldn't coordinate their defense. On the Moon, Colonel Su's forces pushed back against the Krelian ground troops. Without communications, the alien soldiers couldn't call for support or coordinate their movements. "They're retreating," her second-in-command reported with surprise. Su nodded. "Press the advantage. Don't let them regroup." On Mars, General Min saw the same thing happening. The Krelian attack faltered as their ships lost contact with each other. "Forward," Min ordered his troops. "Take back our ground." For 3 days, the silent echo devices continued to work. Human forces won battle after battle. The Krelians were pushed back from Earth, from the Moon, from Mars. But on the 4th day, everything changed. Admiral Han was on the bridge of the Dauntless when the alarm sounded. "New contacts," an officer reported. Many new contacts at the edge of the system. Han looked at the screen and felt his heart sink. A second Krelian fleet had arrived, even larger than the first. "How?" he asked. "How did they call for help with their communications disrupted?" The answer came soon enough. The new Krelian ships were using a different communication system, one that Dr. Jin's devices couldn't affect. They've adapted again, Han said quietly. The new Krelian fleet moved into the solar system. Their first target was the relay station where the silent echo devices were placed. They destroyed it completely, along with the devices. Then they headed for Earth. In the command bunker, June received the news with the president. "How long until they reach us?" she asked. 3 days, June answered, maybe 4. The president was silent for a long moment. Then she opened a secure panel on her desk, revealing a special key. "I never wanted to use this," she said. "But I see no other choice now." June knew what the key was for. Project Sentinel, humanity's last resort. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Once we use it, there's no going back." "If we don't use it, there may be no humans left to go back to anything." The president replied. She turned the key. Deep in space, beyond Pluto's orbit, a hidden human station received the signal. Inside this station was the most powerful weapon humans had ever built. It had been constructed in total secrecy, piece by piece. Over 20 years, the weapon began to power up. The final battle for Earth was about to begin. Project Sentinel was humanity's biggest secret. Not even all world leaders knew about it. Hidden beyond Pluto was a weapon that could destroy an entire planet. Admiral Han watched from the Dauntless as the massive Krelian fleet approached Earth. His ships were damaged. His crews were tired. They had fought bravely, but they were running out of options. "Send a message to all Earth forces," he ordered. "Fall back to defensive positions around Earth. Protect the planet at all costs." The human fleet moved to form, a barrier between Earth and the coming Krelians. Everyone knew this might be their last stand. On the moon, Colonel Sue had pushed back the Krelian ground forces, but more were coming. Her base was damaged and many of her soldiers were injured. "We need to hold for 3 more days," she told her troops. Just 3 more days. No one asked why. They trusted her. They would fight until the end. On Earth, June stood with the president, in the command center. The room was quiet. Everyone watched the big screen showing the Krelian fleet getting closer. "How long until Project Sentinel is ready?" the president asked. 2 days to full power, June answered. "Then 1 day to target and fire." "Will we last that long?" she asked quietly. June didn't answer. He didn't need to. The odds were not good. In space near Mars, Captain Tay gathered the remaining Special Forces pilots. Only 23 of the original 50 had survived the mission to the Krelian relay. "I need volunteers for 1 more mission," he said. "It's dangerous. Many of us won't come back." Every pilot stepped forward. No one stayed back. Tay nodded. "Thank you. Our job is to slow down the Krelian fleet. Every hour we can delay them brings Project Sentinel closer to firing." The pilots began preparing their ships. They loaded them with explosives. These would be one-way trips. Dr. Jin worked in her lab on Earth. Around her, other scientists ran tests and checked numbers. "Power levels at 40%, one reported. "Targeting systems online," said another. Jin looked at the main screen. It showed Project Sentinel, a massive ring in space with a central beam generator. The ring was charging with energy harvested from the sun over 20 years. "Will it be enough?" asked an assistant. "It has to be," Jin replied. The Krelian fleet was now just 1 day from Earth. Admiral Han's ships moved to meet them. It would not be a fair fight, but humans would not surrender. "All vessels, prepare for combat," Han ordered. "Remember why we fight today." The human fleet was small compared to the Krelian armada, but every ship was crewed by people defending their home, their families. They would fight harder than any invader. The battle began with a massive Krelian attack. Their ships fired energy weapons that lit up space. Human vessels exploded. Others took damage but kept fighting. Han's flagship shook as it was hit. "Return fire, all weapons." The human ships fought back. Their weapons had been improved using knowledge gained from studying Krelian technology. They caused damage, but there were too many enemy ships. Suddenly, new ships appeared on Han's screens. "Captain Tay's squad has arrived," an officer reported. Tay's voice came over the radio. "Admiral, we're here to buy you some time." 23 small ships flew directly at the Krelian fleet. They were fast and hard to hit. They targeted the biggest Krelian vessels, ramming into them with explosive force. One by one, Tay's pilots sacrificed themselves. Each one took a Krelian ship with them. The enemy advance slowed. On the moon, Colonel Sue received a message from Earth. Project Sentinel at 85% power. Hold position for 8 more hours. Sue's base was under heavy attack. Krelian forces had landed again with more soldiers and bigger weapons. Her defenses were failing. "We need to buy more time," she told her officers. "Prepare for Plan Delta." Plan Delta was dangerous. It meant flooding the tunnels with the air supply and fighting in spacesuits, but it would slow the Krelians down. "Do it," Sue ordered. Her troops put on their suits. The air was vented from the tunnels. Fighting continued in the airless passages, beneath the moon's surface. On Earth, people waited. Some prayed. Some prepared to fight if the Krelians reached the ground. All watched the sky where flashes of light showed the battle taking place. June stood at a window looking up. "So much depends on what happens up there," he said. The president nodded. "Humans have always looked to the stars with hope. Now we look with fear." "Not just fear," June said. "Determination too." In Dr. Jin's lab, the scientist watched as Project Sentinel reached full power. "We're ready," Jin reported to the president. "Awaiting your command." The president took a deep breath. "Target the center of the Krelian fleet. Fire when ready." In the cold darkness beyond Pluto, the massive ring of Project Sentinel began to glow. Energy collected over 20 years flowed into the central beam. The weapon turned, aiming at the space near Earth where the Krelian fleet fought. Firing in 3, 2, 1. Jin counted down. A beam of blinding light shot across the solar system. It took only seconds to reach its target. When it hit the center of the Krelian fleet, the energy released was like a small sun being born. On the Dauntless, Admiral Han and his crew had to shield their eyes even though they were far from the blast. "All ships, pull back," Han ordered. Theories. Human vessels moved away from the explosion that consumed Krelian ships by the dozens. The aliens had no warning, no time to escape. When the light faded, over half the Krelian fleet was gone. The rest were damaged or unable to fight. For the first time, the Krelians sent a message asking for peace. "This is High Commander Krell of the Krelian Empire," said the alien leader. "We request an immediate ceasefire." The president looked at June. "Is this a trick?" "I don't think so," June replied. "They've never seen a weapon like Project Sentinel. They're afraid we'll use it. Again. Can we?" The president asked Dr. Jin. Jin shook her head. "No. It took 20 years to charge. We used all its power in one shot." "The Krelians don't know that," the president said. She opened a channel to respond. "This is the president of Earth. We accept your ceasefire, but we have conditions." 3 days later, June sat across from High Commander Krell on a neutral ship. Peace talks had begun. The terms were clear. The Krelians would leave the solar system and never return. "You deceived us," Krell said, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "You made us believe humans had forgotten how to fight." "We never forgot," June said. "We only chose not to fight until we had to." "A clever strategy," Krell admitted. "In 17 conquered systems, no one ever tried this approach." "Humans are different," June explained. "Throughout our history, we've had to be clever to survive. Sometimes that means appearing weak when you're strong." The peace treaty was signed that day. The Krelian ships began to leave the solar system. Earth had won. Admiral Han's fleet escorted them to the edge of the system to make sure they left. Colonel Sue's forces reclaimed the moon completely. On Mars, General Min began rebuilding the damaged colony. 1 month after the war ended, Earth held a ceremony to honor those who had died, including Captain Tay and his brave pilots. The president spoke to the crowds gathered in every city. "We pretended to forget war for 30 years, she said. "Now we can truly work toward peace, but we will never again hide who we are." Humans are capable of great kindness, but also great strength when needed. June stood beside her, looking out at the people. The Krelians learned an important lesson, he told them. Never threaten a human's home. The crowd cheered. The war was over. Earth was safe. And the galaxy now knew that humans had never forgotten how to fight. They had simply been waiting for the right time to remember. The end.